They also want to remind the Canadian government that the rail line shutdowns could have been ended many days ago if only Canada, BC, CGL, and the RCMP had honored their own laws as well as the respected Wet'suwet'en laws.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Tyandiega, just east of Belleville, Ontario. Well, folks, I'm standing outside the Mohawk Community Centre, and I am awaiting the start of a press conference involving some hereditary chiefs. They're going to weigh in on the blockade. They're running a little late, but we're going to go in and see what they have to say about these protests that are right now really starting to harm the Canadian economy.
We come a long ways, not only the distance that we travel. And we heard Prime Minister Trudeau just a little while ago talking about the inconvenience that Canada has suffered. However, there is a difference between inconvenience and injustice. Today, the Mohawk people and the Wet'suwet'en people stood in solidarity at the Mohawk Council House in Tyandiega to affirm that they will not stand by and watch while Wet'suwet'en title and rights over their lands are ignored, and while human rights abuses continue to happen in the Wet'suwet'en territory. Contrary to the announcement by the BC RCMP on February 20th, 2020, that they are withdrawing from Wet'suwet'en territory, the hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en confirmed at the meeting that the BC RCMP and the CIRG have in fact increased harassment, made illegal arrests, increased surveillance, and monitoring of Wet'suwet'en people and their invited guests. This is completely unacceptable and far from the show of good faith and contradicts an announcement by the BC RCMP. Both the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs and the Mohawk people of Tyandiega remain deeply concerned by the myriad of laws that Canada has broken, including Wet'suwet'en law, the Canadian Constitution, the Supreme Court of Canada, Delgamuukw decision of 1997, UNDRIP, and the Geneva Convention on Genocide. They want to remind Canada and the world that Wet'suwet'en land was never ceded or surrendered, and as such, Canada's actions amount to an illegal occupation in Wet'suwet'en territory. They also want to remind the Canadian government that the rail line shutdowns could have been ended many days ago if only Canada, BC, CGL, and the RCMP had honored their own laws as well as the respected Wet'suwet'en laws. We demand the remote detachment, community industry, service office established by the RCMP on Wet'suwet'en territory without our consent be immediately removed, and that the RCMP are completely removed from our territory and cease patrols from our lands. Out means out. We demand that all CGL activities cease within Wet'suwet'en territory while nation-to-nation talks are going as present to the eviction notice that was delivered to them on January 4th, 2020.
Chief, one of the ongoing narratives of these protests is one that is anti-fossil fuels. It's an environmental argument, and yet when you look at the protesters, the blockades, they're using fossil fuels to keep warm, to fuel their vehicles. Is there not a degree of hypocrisy there?
I don't want to get into any psychological attrition, so I can't comment on that.
Well, that was an interesting press conference that just took place down the road at the Mohawk Community Centre, although it is a press conference that does not fill me with any measure of optimism in terms of bringing these illegal rail blockades to an end. The Wet'suwet'en hereditary chief Woos, he was adamant. He says that discussions with senior Liberal cabinet ministers cannot continue until the RCMP completely evacuate the Wet'suwet'en area. And of course, he wants a complete end to any development of the Coastal GasLink project. Only then will he come to the table to talk terms. In the meantime, you have to wonder who exactly Chief Woos represents in terms of sheer numbers. After all, as we've reported before, 20 out of 20 native band councils in BC completely support the Coastal GasLink project. And with good reason. It's going to bring incredible prosperity to their region. It's going to create hundreds, if not thousands, of well-paying jobs. And all of that is being lost thanks to this standoff. Indeed, it is really a lose-lose situation as the blockades continue, isn't it, folks? Natives who want to get to work and who want to have well-paying jobs, well, they're being denied that, and the Canadian economy, well, it's losing hundreds of millions of dollars as this blockade across the country continues. Like I said, given the nature of the press conference today, I don't see any end in sight unless there's some political will from Ottawa, and would you bet on that? For the Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, have you heard? Rebel News is going on a cruise. Please visit rebelnewscruise.com, get all the details, and I hope to see you on the ship come July as we sail north to Alaska.